Hey guys, welcome back to Two People in a White Box. I'm your host, Elise Sandlin.
And I'm your other host, Caitlin Osteen.
This is our third episode, so thank you for sticking with us through the other two. Today, we are going to be diving into
purity culture. We're about to get deep in this one.
So it's a fun one. I guess we'll just start by going through our experiences of what we've dealt with purity culture and what purity culture means to us and kind of how those shaped our views on it now. So Caitlin, do you want to start us off?
All right, mine's probably going to be all over the place and I'll
try
to keep it short because I'm sure we'll go into it deeper.
Oh, yeah.
But my experience with purity culture was just growing up. Like, what I was wearing was always a big issue. Who I was talking to, saving myself for marriage, and not that you can't save yourself for marriage, but just in every aspect of my life, I was supposed to be
forced on you.
Exactly. Just saving myself for my husband based on what I was wearing, who I was talking to, not to do things with certain people, not to talk to certain people, not to look a certain way. And just all of the guilt was definitely put on me, which made me hate men with such a passion. I say this every single week that I hate men, but I just really, really did.
We did.
really, really did. I can't get it across enough. But I just hated men so much because I just thought of them as only sexualizing me and not loving me, not caring for me, just seeing me as my family actually put it, as a piece of meat. Like, and not that they said I was a piece of meat, but they said guys would view me as a piece of meat if I didn't guard myself with what I wore and everything like that. And it just really kind of scarred me as a kid, and I was always so hurt by it and just couldn't really get over it. Even into my adult life, I think I still struggle with it just because it was pushed on me so much.
Yeah.
What was your experience with purity culture, and what do you think of when you think of purity culture?
Yeah, so at its worst, and I definitely think this used to be more in our culture than it is now, and thankfully we've kind of grown away from it, but it was like, at its very, very worst was like rape culture.
Yeah.
And like when women were sexually assaulted or molested or even raped, and people would be like, well, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
And like women were really, it was put on them. Anytime a man would do something wrong, whether that was even looking at a woman lustfully or actually acting out on that lust, it's like, well, what were you doing to make him think he had a chance? Or what were you doing to like welcome him, you know? And I'll even like experience that some with just like me being like a friendly person and guys like asking me out and stuff. My friends will be like, well, were you inviting him? And I was like,
were you flirting with him?
Maybe I smile, like I'm at the bar and I smile at a guy and like suddenly it's my fault that he thinks he can ask me.
Well, men can never be held accountable a lot of times in purity culture, I feel like. It's always put on the woman. And that's not to say that men don't experience things from purity culture as well. I just feel like definitely women have more of a push on them.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
And that's true. I mean, we can only speak from our experience because we are women. And so we didn't experience the side of purity culture that hurts men.
Yeah.
We just experienced what hurt us. And that's all that we can speak on this podcast. So if anyone has a different experience, please dial in.
If you're a man and you've experienced purity culture like in a harsh way towards you, which I mean, I definitely could see different aspects of it being harmful to men. Like being told that you have to like not go certain places or not look at certain things because you're always going to be tempted.
Yeah.
And like that is harmful to a boy's, I can't even think of the word, like psyche. Like it is harmful,
And like that's how it was for us. Like it kind of hurt like my sense of self because I just thought like men were only ever going to see me in a certain way. And like that's part of the reason that it contributed to us hating men so much, because we've talked about how much like we distrusted men and we didn't see men, like we didn't respect them, we didn't really value like how they looked at us because we were told that they looked at us in a certain way. And I think a huge part of that was because of purity culture. It's like I was told, if you don't cover up, if you don't wear this, then every single man is going to look at you and lust over you.
Yeah, and they can't help it either.
And that was so harmful to me and like to the way I viewed men and to the way I viewed men's relationships with women. Just like the whole like the way genders cohabitated in general, like it was just harmful to me because I wanted to view men as my equal and I wanted to be viewed as an equal and like that they could just be my friends, my buddies, whatever. And like they would view me as more than my body and I could wear a bikini and go swim with guy friends without them being like, oh and like that really is the case. Like I've experienced that thankfully as I've gotten older, which we've talked about that before. We just needed to get out there and meet the right men. But the way I was told growing up, I really felt like I literally was just seen as a piece of meat, like you said, to men, and I was just there to be lusted over, and everything, all the responsibility to be pure or whatever was placed on me as a woman. I think that's the main part about purity culture, because it's your decision if you want to stay pure or not in your life. But it's like purity culture, it really targets women, and it puts all that responsibility on women to uphold purity as a society.
Yeah.
And
it
in a
always is on them.
relationship and all that.
I remember we had a family friend, and I mean, I say family friend, he wasn't really like a part of my life, but he was a part of my parents' life and everything like that. And I remember one day he said something to my dad, and my dad said it back to me, and I remember I just became so furious because he said, I wish that every woman would just wear clothing up to their chins and then all the way down to their ankles. It would solve all of the world's problems because we wouldn't have any issues anymore with sexualization of them, with anything. And I was like, you literally just said that I should have to cover up my entire body because you can't handle it?
Yeah.
You can't handle for me to be walking around. How about all men just lose their vision? Like, just, that's simpler. I'm not changing the way I dress for you.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That's your problem.
In other parts of the country or the world and other times in history, when women did cover up more, people were still raped or sexually assaulted just as much.
Even
like more
now,
like in different parts of the world now, like more clothing does not solve any of those problems.
No, it just sexualizes
words.
Yeah. Oh, struggles. It just sexualizes them more, like certain body parts. Like if you cover up your ankles and a guy has never seen your ankles before, then all of a sudden seeing your ankles is like
in the olden days when the dress would come up and it'd be like legs.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Now legs are no big deal because as a society it's just more normal.
Yeah. And if we stop making a big deal out of things, then honestly, I feel like people wouldn't sexualize as much. And that's not to say we all have sexual preferences. We all have sexual desires, men and women, which is something also
that's never talked about.
Like women have sexual desires too.
That was never talked about
never.
Growing up. Like that I was going to be a sexual person.
I know. Like I thought I was going to hate sex. And that's
another thing you were told.
Yeah.
And that book that you read, which we need to bring on the podcast.
We do need to bring that book on the podcast. I always thought that and that's another, so I'm rambling, but I thought men only wanted me for sex, and I thought I was going to hate sex. So I was like, I felt so scarred sexually with that. Like I kind of looked at sex as like a bad thing, you know, and then I was able to kind of like take it for myself and be like, this is a good thing, this is okay, and kind of retake it. But for a while I thought of sex as being like, I never want to have sex because like it's obviously just for the man. I'm going to hate it. And it's not for me.
Yes, I used to think, like, if I was going to have sex with someone, like, I'd be giving them, like, power over me.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way, like, I viewed it. And that's, like, I didn't want to feel like anyone had power or control.
Oh, I agree,
I felt like if I gave, like, that vulnerability over to someone, it's like they owned me or something.
Well, people say that.
They do say
that.
Act that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I also think, and I think I said this in one of our other podcasts, but it's like, there's been so much damage with the way women have been treated throughout society that it's like we almost kind of have this like little chip on our shoulder, like everyone's out to get us because of the way we've been treated in history. Because like in some cultures, like the mothers of these women used to, I forgot the actual term, but it's like I forgot the term, it's gonna make me upset, but it's where like they do like a surgery on the women so they can't enjoy sex. It's it's some kind of surgery down there where it's like sex is no longer pleasurable for them.
Why?
They do, I think it's called castrating. I think that's the correct term. But they do that so their wives will not have desire to have sex with anyone else but their husbands. The husbands don't get that, but the wives do. So it's like they're not tempted to like look at other men or whatever.
It shows that women do enjoy it.
They do, exactly, but it's like they wanted to take that away from them so they just be loyal to their husbands or something. Like things like that have gone on through society so much. And it's like, I know that's in the past, but it's like it's hard to let it go.
It is hard to let it go.
It's hard to not be like, oh, people don't still see women that way. You know?
Well, because they do, and if they stop bringing it up, then maybe we could let it go.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's constantly brought up, and it's constantly, I mean, especially in, and again, I don't mean to always bring this up, but like I feel like especially in religion, it is more of like a women, you know, are just are for sex, and you know, men like sex more than women, and just quite frankly, that's not true. I mean, we all have different like levels of everything. Like you can find a girl that doesn't enjoy sex, you can find a guy that's like insane, and I definitely think that there's probably more men that like sex, but like at the same time, it's like just because men aren't doing their job right, But that's
Yeah, honestly,
I don't know.
a lot of it's just easier for men. I think that's also a big
Literally.
part. Like, it's easier to have sex as a man than it is as a woman.
Yeah.
And like, you gotta know kind of how to handle it if
Yeah.
you're gonna enjoy it
That's
necessarily.
true.
But like, it's not really fair. That's, you know, but that's just the way it is. But it doesn't mean it's not enjoyable.
Yeah.
If you do it right. Like,
if you do
let's be honest,
the right thing,
we're all adults here. We can talk about this.
if you do the right thing, then it'll be good for her. If she doesn't like it, you gotta question yourself a little bit.
Something's
Which is
wrong.
something I've always been curious about.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys that are up here being like, women don't like sex as much as men. And I'm like, you're really just outing yourself right now.
Yeah.
Like, your wife doesn't like it. Yeah, I wouldn't tell people that if I were you.
Something's not happening.
You're
That's
not
right
performing. Sorry. Anyway.
Little rabbit trail there.
No, don't tell people
Yeah.
your wife's not enjoying it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's not good. That's a problem with you, buddy.
Yeah, not her.
But no, I think that it's just a huge part of purity culture is putting all that responsibility on the woman and being like, you know, if you're not pure, if men stumble, if men mess up, if they lust, whatever it is, it's on you, and that's just not the way it is.
Yeah.
It's not ever on the woman if the man is the one messing up, you know?
And it really is like you lose your value as a woman if you lose your virginity is kind of what's taught, because men always want a virgin and you have no value. And I am in no way pro, you know, like I would never sleep around. I'm married. But like I don't feel like you're going to lose your value when you lose like that. And that's so toxic to be like, well, you lost your virginity and now you're just worthless. Like you're nothing anymore.
Because that's another way it used to be in the old days. Like if you've seen Mansfield Park, it's a Jane Austen movie. I was raised on Jane Austen. In Mansfield Park, I want to say it is. We're gonna go with that. Okay. We're gonna go with Mansfield Park. In Mansfield Park, they're like these rich people, you know, and the husband or the guy and the woman, they have sex outside of marriage, and she's like blacklisted, like cut off, like she lives in her father's attic for the rest of her life because she's labeled like unclean. And he goes on to marry somebody else because, you know, he's a man,
doesn't matter,
and he's rich and powerful and he can get away with it. But back then women could not get away with it. They were scarred, which is why I feel like the feminist movement kind of overcorrected in a lot of ways, and they were just like, we can sleep around, we can do whatever we want, blah blah blah, which like you can, but I just think like, you know, that's why women especially have really owned their sexuality now, because back then you really were labeled as like dirty if you slept with anybody or did anything with a man. We're like alone in a room with a man outside of marriage. It's like it ruined your honor, you know, but it didn't ruin the man's honor.
No, the man's fine. I almost just
feel
like there's been like an opposite reaction, because it's like you've been told that you can't be sexual, like you can't have control of your sexuality, and so people have been out here being like, heck yeah, we can, we're gonna show you and stick it to you. And I mean, I'm probably somewhere in the middle where I'm just like, whatever. But like, power to you, whatever way you choose. I mean, to me, it's like, if you want to save yourself to marriage, do it. It's just, don't devalue other women when they didn't, you know? Like, that's
it's all about your own choice. That's like the most beautiful part about feminism. It's just like the right to choose what makes you feel empowered. Like for me, like wearing a bikini, I never felt like I was sexualizing myself. My stomach just rumbled if anyone heard that.
It's so loud.
Bro, I'm hungry. I've been on campus all day.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, hopefully that didn't make it in the podcast.
I bet it did, but that's okay.
Anyway, so whenever I wanted to wear bikinis, I was kind of always told that like that was going to be sexualizing myself and like leading men to like stumble and get distracted and lust. Yeah, like me wearing a bikini is not me asking for it whatsoever. Me wearing a bikini was so like liberating for me. Like it made me feel more confident in myself and in my body than I ever had. And that's kind of what it's all about. It's like, what makes you feel confident in yourself and your body? What makes you feel free and most like yourself, you know? And like someone controlling that aspect of your life is a really huge thing. And that's like what purity culture, that's the purity culture I experienced the most. Like I didn't experience it to the very worst of like, oh, you get sexually assaulted and someone asks, what were you wearing?
No,
you know?
and no one I knew would ever do that either.
Yeah.
I think that definitely is an extreme part of it, but it is out there.
It's definitely
and
out there.
It's relevant because people do experience it, which is horrible. Or like, where were you when it happened, you know? And it's like, obviously as women and as men, we should stay away from certain places, but that does not leave the blame on you.
Yeah.
Or any blame. There's literally nothing on you. You are the victim, and that is period, like, end of story. That's what you are. You're the victim. And it doesn't matter where you were. It doesn't matter what you were wearing. It doesn't matter, oh no, she batted her eyelashes at him. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You control yourself, and you should have the power as a man to be able to control yourself, please.
I do think, like, consent has become a really big thing in our culture.
I'm so thankful
like,
for
that's
it.
a huge step forward that I've really, like, experienced. Like, even in classes, we're doing, like, hands-on activities. Like, I'm in an acting class, and my professor's like, make sure you ask for consent before you touch their arm or something.
Yeah.
To me, I don't care so much about that, but it's like,
I don't think anything of it
so
when someone
much,
does it to
it's
me,
been stressed so much that that's even becoming, like, a part of classes. And I think that's so important. Like, no means no, but so does, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I'm not ready, you know, like, all those things
and
mean no.
Stopping once you say yes too. You can always take that back. That's an important thing too, of like, yeah, I wanted to and then I didn't anymore. And there's no blame on you. There's not, oh well, you turned me on and now I'm mad at you because you did this. Like, men and women, say no if you don't want to continue. And you can say no at any time. It's never too late to say no. That's such an important thing that's come of kind of like the anti-purity culture too, is that.
And that's so important. Like, we really are making so many steps as, like, a society. I just wish, like, a lot of the people that I grew up around kind of saw things like the same way that I do, because I feel like a lot of times, like, I'll be talking with people that I grew up with, and they just, like, don't understand why I feel the way I feel, or why I'm so angry. They'll be like, that's not really what we meant, or that's not what you experienced, or like,
oh, that's a huge one.
You just need to, like, get over it, you know? And I'm like, you weren't in my shoes.
You weren't there.
Didn't feel what I feel. And then sometimes I, like, gaslight myself, and I'm like, was it really that serious? Was it that deep? I know it has to be that serious and that deep for for it to have affected me so much, because I wasn't somebody that just got offended over everything, you know? Like, I really wasn't. I wasn't somebody that's just like, you hurt my feelings, I'm gonna harbor this forever. You know? I'm not like that. Like, I let things roll off my back every single day, and I don't hold grudges against people. I really don't. Like, I really want to meet people with love and, like, be that the leading thing in my life that I remember. But I remember so much that hurt me.
I know.
And I'm like, well, where did I get that from? Like, am I making it up?
It wasn't necessarily one thing either. I feel like it's just, like, over years and years and years. And even stuff maybe that wasn't directed at you. Maybe they weren't saying it to you, but just stuff you picked up, you know, of, like, of people judging other women or saying other things about other women. You know, and it's like, oh, I'm picking that up. Like, I remember hearing people talking about, like, women that were hoes, you know, just because they talked to, like, I remember thinking, like, you know, everyone else's definition is kind of like a hoe is someone that sleeps around. I remember being like, dude, that girl is, like, flirting or, like, laughing at every guy's joke. She's a hoe. And it's like, just because she's laughing at every single guy's joke means she's, like, putting herself out. It's like, no, she can be friends with guys and she can flirt with whoever she wants to. That doesn't make you a hoe. Like, just anything so simple, you know, and it's just like, you take it the wrong way and you go too far with it. And it's so toxic and it's so harmful to little girls who are going through puberty and literally trying to figure out their body, and then you tell them that they need to protect it all. Like, you can't show a bit of it. You have a butt, we don't want to know about it. Like, just cover it all. And you're trying to figure out who you are.
That you have a shape.
You have legs, cover them. Like, and you're just trying to figure out who you are as a person and, like, who you are as a woman. And you're going through all of these changes, and then you're told you need to cover them up, and it almost feels bad that you have them, you know? Like, it's
like,
so
you feel guilty
harmful.
for having it. Yeah, no, I don't know if I ever, like, felt guilt. I was just, like, vibing as a kid. Like, I didn't really care about what I wore or what I looked like until I got older. It was really when I got older and started dating, and it was really more the perspective that I thought men had, I think, more than anything, that harmed me. But it definitely was, like, growing up with the way women were viewed or the way I thought men viewed women. It was all those little picks. It was, like, a little bit at a time. But it did like shape me in a way that I can't exactly be like, well, it was this one big thing, you know, but it was all those little things that kind of were underneath the skin. And then when I went out into the world and had some negative experiences with like men and women's roles and views, it all just kind of like built up so much and contributed to like so much like bad views of men and women, you know, and purity culture and all of that. But thankfully, like, I never was someone that was like, I'm gonna cover up to please man.
Yeah.
Like, I always wore exactly
I always
what I
fought
wanted to
against
wear.
it, but I think that in the back of my mind, I felt guilty for it. Like, anytime I would wear, and I still kind of carry some of that, where I'm like, oh gosh, this is too tight, or this is too revealing. And I'm like, no, it's not, I'm vibing. Like, it's fine. It's okay. But it is, like, kind of ingrained in you, you know, to look for that stuff and to make sure you're not tempting men or, you know. And I don't really care if I'm tempting men at this point. I just kind of don't want to be looked at. Like, so sometimes I'm just like, don't look at me. Is this going to get me looked at?
Yeah.
And Connor will be like, that's their problem. You know, and it's like, it is. It's their problem. It's not my problem.
It is, yeah. It's never been on you.
Yeah.
No, I remember the first time I wore a bikini, I was with my best friend, and I was like, people are looking. And she was like, rip that off, girl. You look hot.
Yeah. Nobody's looking. Like,
and then we had a photo shoot, and I posted my first bikini picture on Instagram.
how powerful.
I was 17. It was a beautiful day. It was
like,
a moment of growth.
July 1st.
No, for real. I do remember it so well because I remember, like, swimsuits were, like, a really big thing.
100%.
And, like, growing up. Because, like, I was 8 years old, and we had this really close family friend, and I was 8, and they made me wear, like, a one-piece and shorts, you know, and my sister was, like, 12, and she wore, like, long denim shorts.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know why. She could have gotten some athletic shorts, but like,
it had to be denim.
But it was
denim
just,
does
like,
not tempt men.
it was just, like, too much clothing for an 8-year-old to swim, you know?
Oh, she was swimming in it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It was our bathing suit. She swam in long denim shorts and, like, a one-piece. And I swam in a one-piece and, like, little athletic shorts.
Yeah.
That was, like, our bathing suit. And all the girls wore that. And I think the boys wore shirts, I think. Which,
probably not.
At least equality, you know?
Yeah, we like equality.
But still, we were all kids, you know? And even if we weren't kids, we should all be adults and be able to handle what each other's bodies look like.
Well, you're
so
teaching
either way,
kids to sexualize themselves and sexualize others too.
Exactly. Either way, it should never be an issue. People's, like, I always just say, like, a body is a body. And yeah, there are a lot of attractive bodies out there. That doesn't mean that it's harmful to any of us. I don't get it.
I don't understand. I really don't. I don't get the viewpoint of it.
I don't get it. There's going to be a lot of people out there that, you know, think things about you when they see you. But it's not our job to try to tiptoe and walk around eggshells for them.
Yeah. Well, there's perverts everywhere.
Exactly.
But there's always going to be perverts.
And they're going to be perverts. No, perverts. They're going to be perverts no matter what you wear.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like, and if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else. They're going to be nasty no matter what.
Oh, you could be wearing literally the longest thing. And I have been before, you know, and I'm still getting looked at. And so it's not you that's the problem. It's the person that can't keep their eyes to themselves.
Yeah, even the Bible says, gouge out an eye if you look at someone lustfully.
Yeah.
So the Bible doesn't put it on women. Just saying.
I love how you're like, done.
Point made, mic drop. So yeah, I think that sums up purity culture. I don't know. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't know. There's so much to it.
There's a lot of layers
ramble,
too.
You know, I don't get to my point.
There's a lot of layers to purity culture, and I'm not sure I could speak on them as well because I just haven't had those experiences.
Yeah.
Like, this podcast is really just for us to talk about what we've experienced, what we've seen, what we've felt. And there's so much outside of that I just don't have a fully formed opinion on. Because,
there definitely is. Like, the deeper stuff, I'll stay away from.
Yeah, there's a lot of life that I haven't lived and experienced. I'm young.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
So we're getting there.
I think going into marriage, like, I really felt purity culture. I mean, honestly, before marriage, because, like, when I started dating. But I remember I was watching, like, American Ninja Warrior with Connor, and, you know, the girls, they're wearing, like, spandex and sports bras. And I remember, like, growing up, like, that was, like,
you've said
you
that.
can't watch
your brothers weren't allowed to watch that.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, again, that's okay. I'm not shaming that aspect of it, but it's just, like, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot watch this. with Connor. It's not moving anymore. Oh, it is. Never mind. I'm sorry. I can't.
We've got our recording behind us.
Sorry, I thought it wasn't recording it. We can cut that out if you want.
No, we don't cut anything out on here.
That's true.
This is just a conversation. It's not trying to be professional or
That's
anything.
true.
It's literally just you having coffee with us.
True.
Whatever viewers watching, you're just sitting down having coffee with us.
Yeah.
You know, like we used to have.
We need some
when
coffee
we'd rant
then.
about this. We do need to get some coffee in here.
Next
I'm
time.
so dehydrated.
Next time. I am too. I'm really thirsty. Anyway, I thought that. What was I saying? Oh, I thought that he couldn't watch it. Like, and I remember being like, "Well, we should turn this off, right?" And he was like, "Why?" He was like, "It's just people doing their thing." Like,
yeah.
And I was like, "You're not gonna like struggle?" And he was like, "Why would I?" This was like early in our relationship
You
too.
were really messed up.
I was really messed up. I was like, "Are you gonna like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know really what I thought, but I was just like, you can't watch this, you know?" And
No.
he was like, "Why though?" He was like, he was like, "Let me ask you something." He was like, "Shouldn't I be impressed with what these women are doing in a sports sense?"
Yeah.
Then
Just like that's mutual respect right there. Yeah.
exactly. And it made me realize, I was like, yeah, like if you're over here sexualizing every single thing that a woman does, that's really toxic.
Yeah.
Like, that's really toxic.
It really is, especially in a setting that's not sexual whatsoever.
I mean, and there are certain scenes, like in movies or something, where the camera does something, the lighting does something, and it's like, oh, this is meant to be sexual.
Yeah.
And that's just up to your standards of whether or not you watch it. But American Ninja Warrior
Yeah, it's not
is
supposed
not
to be sexual.
sexual.
No, I remember, thank God, like, the way I was raised, I think it could have gone one of two ways. I could have either dated, like, someone really conservative and been, like, really messed up.
Yeah.
And been, like, men are super toxic. Or I could have dated the guys that I dated and turned out the way I did, thankfully. Because, like, the guys I dated, I know that there are men out there. I can't speak today.
I can't either. This is such a ramble.
I know that there are men out there that, like, try to control what their girlfriends wear. Because they are like, they either feel threatened or they don't want other guys looking at them or things like that. My men were always like, show it off, baby, you're hot, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I ended up with guys like that, because if I had ended up with guys the other way, I would have just maybe thought it was normal. I wouldn't have listened because I'm me, but I would have been like, whoa, are all men really like this?
Yeah,
like,
because it would have scarred you.
I would have probably have stereotyped, and based off of my experiences, I would have said all men are like this, which is wrong. But
well, because you've been told that your whole life, and then they would have proven it.
Exactly.
And so it's natural. I actually have a story about that, and I'm not going to mention a name or mention anything that would give it away, because this is her story to tell.
Ooh.
But one of my really good friends, like, she got married, and she was wearing a pair of shorts, and her husband was like, "Those are way too short." And she was like, "Well, I'm wearing them, like, it's fine." So she went to work, and when she came back, her entire closet was gone through. And
you told me about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And all of her clothes
Divorce.
that he did not like, well, yeah, in the future. And all the clothes that she did not like, or he did not like, that he felt were too sexual, he threw them away without even talking to her, without any of it. Like, first of all, she was wearing the shorts, and he was just like, "You're not wearing those." Like, he wasn't even like, "Hey," which even still, honestly, it's not your business.
I would still be pissed off
like,
if he was like, "Hey, baby, I just think those are a little too short." I feel
yeah.
like
Honestly, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I feel like if you came about it nicely, and you knew about it coming in, maybe you'd be okay with it. I don't know. But either way, like, without asking, and just threw all of her stuff away.
wow.
Like, she never got it back. Like, it was just
so
gone.
sad.
Like, that's what purity culture gets for you.
Yeah, that's purity culture at, like, an extra level of worse than what we experience.
Don't wear those things because they sexualize you.
Yeah.
And I just want to be seen as a human being. That's all I want, is just to be seen as a human. And I understand that there's sexualization of all people at the end of the day, but, like, just see people as humans. Like, just talk to me like I'm a human being. You don't need to be eyeing me up and down.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk to me because you find me attractive. Just talk to me, you know? And again, there's sexualization of, like, everyone, like, when you're dating or, like, whatever, like, and that's healthy, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, like, to just go around, like, sexualizing every single person you see, is girl or guy. Like, we'll get up to girls too. Don't sexualize every guy you see.
Oh yeah.
Guys don't sexualize every girl you see. Like, sometimes you can just
Because we're so much deeper than that. Like, I remember having a conversation with some of my friends on campus, and it was like me and 2 other guys, and one of the guys was like talking about this girl that he thought was cute or something. Because I mean, he's a good guy, like genuinely one of my best friends, but he really, like, if he sees a cute girl, like, he's talking to her.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter if there's anything more than that to him. Like, he's talking to her. Your
personality sucks. Because she's talking
cute.
To you.
Exactly. It's like, if she's cute, he's gonna make a move, even if there's no further connection, you know.
Yeah.
And he was asking one of our other friends, like, he was like, are you looking at any cute girls on campus, you know? And he was like, I don't objectify women like that.
I love that. Where is this guy?
No, literally, one of my besties. I love this man. Like, he was like, if there's something deeper that develops, then I'm gonna be like looking to see, you know, if I can make any moves. Yeah. But I'm not just like, ooh, hot girl, ooh, hot girl,
a woman.
Exactly. Like, there's so much more to women, obviously, than that, and to men. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with finding someone attractive.
No, that's
you gotta
normal.
Remember, there's so much more to that than somebody.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're not interested in like getting to know more, then you just admire them like a sunset. They're God's beautiful creation.
Admire them like a sunset.
You can admire something beautiful from afar, and that's fine, you know. But just remember their value, because the value is always there.
Well, there's a difference in lusting and then finding someone attractive.
Exactly.
Too, and that's a huge thing. It's like lusting, you are sexualizing them, like, and then there's like, we're not blind humans. Like, we notice if someone's attractive or something, and to me, it's that innocent beauty though, where it's like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty, or like, he's so handsome, you know. It's like the innocence.
There's also
of
a
it,
big
you know?
difference in finding someone attractive and being attracted to them.
Oh, 100%.
For instance, Henry Cavill.
I keep saying 100%. Henry Cavill.
We're making good points. I gotta bring up Henry Cavill on here. Love of my life since I was 13.
Oh, 100%.
But because
100%.
100%. Because I fell in love with him when I was 13, I wasn't like sexually attracted to people at that age because I was 13, you know? So it's like, that man is so beautiful. Like, love of my life. I love him. Like, literally 8 years strong, y'all. But I'm not like attracted to him, like sexually attracted to him. Like, I've talked with a lot of my girlfriends, you know, and like, they're like, oh, I want to marry that man, or I want to kiss him, or more than that, you know, worse than that. And I'm like, I was like, oh, I've never really thought about that. Like, genuinely, I've never like pictured myself like with him. He's like 20 years older than me. That's icky to me. Like, I've never pictured myself with him. I've never pictured myself with like any celebrity. Like, to me, like, I just admire celebrities from afar, but I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna be his wife one day, you know? Like with Henry Cavill, when he starts dating somebody, I love her just as much as I love him. Not just as much. But I'm like her biggest supporter, because I'm like, he loves her, I love her. Like, that's true love, in my opinion. It's not just a celebrity crush, it's love.
Well, it wouldn't be true love if you were in a relationship.
Yeah, but we're not. It's fine. He's just my role model, and I love him so much.
I love that.
I know, it's so innocent. It really is, because you know, I fell in love with him when I was 13. But obviously, he's so attractive, but I'm not like attracted to him.
When this podcast blows up, Henry Cavill will listen to it.
Henry Cavill, come find me.
I'm manifesting it. Henry Cavill's gonna listen. I don't know why, but he's going to. And he's gonna come find you. Because he's a feminist,
that's why.
Yeah, he is.
It's gonna be like a podcast about feminists. About feminism.
We're such a disaster today.
My brain is tired. He's gonna be like a podcast about feminism. Oh my gosh. Then he's gonna be like, well, that blonde, she's cute. I'm gonna hit her up as a friend.
As a friend. I'm gonna hit her up as a friend.
So, yes. Anyway, so because I have a boyfriend, it's like, I'm not attracted to anybody else but him. But like, you know, I think Henry Cavill's attractive. And that's not wrong. Because,
well, you're not blind,
attracted to anybody else,
but you're not attracted to anybody. Exactly. And that's a huge thing. Like, because you shouldn't be, you know, walking around in stores and be like ooh, you know, if you're dating someone, if that happens to you, you should break up.
Yeah, you shouldn't be in a relationship.
That's not a good relationship. Like, when I'm married to Connor, and I am so in love with Connor, and I in no way want to be with anyone else. That's what it should be. Does that mean I'm blind? No. He's not blind either, you know, and it's like, you know when people, you're not like, oh, everyone in this world is ugly.
Yeah.
I think everyone's like, God, you know, just,
Yeah. But I do think.
I can't talk.
It's literally me neither. I do think, like, you know, when you're with somebody and they love you, like, love makes you more beautiful than anyone else in the entire world. It doesn't mean you're blind. It's not like you're like, oh, that person's so ugly. But it's like, compared to the person you love, everyone else doesn't even exist.
They're everything.
You know? Like, I Only Have Eyes for You, that's a song. Because it's like, by Michael Bublé. Because it's like, really, when you do love that person and you love their outside and their inside, you love everything about them, they become the most beautiful person.
Yeah, why would I want to be with anyone else when I
Exactly.
just have this? You know, there's
Exactly.
not even a temptation there.
Yeah, and that's like the most beautiful part about love. I was thinking about this. This has nothing to do with purity culture, but it's my hopeless romantic side.
Talk about it.
A little rabbit trail here, but literally, like, when you love someone, it doesn't matter what you do, what accomplishments you have. Like, to them, you are number one.
Yeah.
Like, you can be failing, you can be making F's in school or not have a solid career, but they're still going to be number one
That's so
in your book,
sweet.
and you're going to be number one in theirs. And like, love is the only thing that does that.
Yeah.
Like, the world is competitive, and if you are in a job, in school, a career, an athlete, whatever you're doing, like, chances are you're not going to be number one all the time.
I mean,
But
you are, but
no. But for the person you love, you're always going to be number one to them all the time. And I think that's like, it's so much grace. It's like, no matter who you are, what you become, you know, somewhere in the world, you are number one. And that is in the eyes of the person you love. And love is the only thing that does that.
I love that. There's a song out there that's like, whatever you're feeling, just know you're somebody's reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
no,
that's
it's so
it
true.
Too, you know?
It's so true. It, like, no wonder, like, love gives us so much purpose in life. It's not the only purpose, but I was talking to my boyfriend the other day about how old we're getting. Because I'm 21 now.
Oh, so old.
And I'm feeling youth just leave me. But
it's called a quarter life crisis.
No, for real.
Look it up. It's real.
It's so real. And I was like, literally, babe, all that we leave behind is our love. That's it.
You're gonna make me
That's
cry.
all we have. That's all we leave behind is the way that we touch people.
Didn't you post about that?
Think so.
I was like, I've heard this thought before. It resonated.
I've posted similar things about that, like, at least once every couple months, you know, because that's what social media is for, to spread the love. But literally, it's like, when it's all said and done, all we have is the love we gave and the people we touch. Literally nothing else matters.
So whether you have a boyfriend, a husband, or not, like, just go love some people.
Yeah, it literally has nothing to do with romantic love. Like, that's the best part. It's like your best friend, your family, your cat. Don't get me started on my cats.
Oh, my cat and my dog. I'll literally cry.
Literally, it's just like the love that you leave behind, because people will forget what you said and they'll forget what you did, but they won't forget how you make them feel.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, that even resonates with like this whole podcast and the way that we grew up and the people we were around. It's like, I genuinely forget the certain things people said, the certain things people did to make me feel the way I felt about feminism and everything. But I remember how I felt. Like, I remember the way they made me feel and how passionate I became about feminism. And along with that, whenever I was becoming passionate about feminism, like freshman, sophomore year, I became really, really passionate about love. I was always passionate about love. Like, honestly, it's not like I was ever like, I don't like love.
Yeah.
I was always passionate about love, but I think I had never felt so very much what the lack of love can do to a person. Love versus the lack of love, and how life-changing it is.
Yeah.
And how it literally will change the trajectory of someone's life if they feel loved by you. And like, that's where it just hit home. And I was like, no matter what I'm doing in life, no matter who I'm around, no matter what I'm saying, talking about, believing, fighting for, I want love to be at the center of that. I want
so beautiful.
my life to be based around love.
I love that.
That was a complete tangent.
I love the tangent. That was beautiful.
Can I go on another tangent?
Do it. Go. Now.
I'm so sorry. Like, this has nothing to do with purity culture.
That's okay. What is it?
Okay, you might relate to this because you're married and everything. It's also about love, just a different type.
Okay.
Not really
love.
not really a different type of love, just like a different, like, time passing. As time passes, the way love manifests or stays or changes, whatever, you know. Anyway, have you seen Bridgerton, the Queen Charlotte edition?
No.
Okay, it's really good. For all my Bridgerton fans, I won't spoil much.
Yeah, don't tell me.
There might be a little bit of spoilers. No, I'm kidding. There's this scene at the very end. Obviously, like, you know.
There's no spoilers. There's a scene at the very end.
But it's like, it's based off a real life story.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
it's like,
go for
if
it.
you know the historical story, I'm not really spoiling much. But obviously they get married, they stay together, and they're old. They're old. And he deals with some mental things, and so he like climbs under his bed whenever he gets like a mental issue. And this is when they're old, and she climbs under the bed with him, and they're like talking, and then they see each other, and it's the young versions of themselves, and they're talking about like when they first got married, and he was like, I'm so glad that you like chose me, or whatever, however he said it. But they're talking as these old people, seeing themselves as the younger versions of themselves. And that scene chokes me up because it's so true, the way that human beings love one another. It's like when I see someone, like for me, you know, I haven't been married for 50 plus years, but for me, it's like my childhood best friends that I grew up with, that I've known since I was 5 years old, and now we're in our 20s and we're getting married or dating or moving away, starting careers. But it's like, I don't see any of that. I don't see their 21-year-old selves that I went to Broadway with the other night and drank. Like when I see them, I keep hitting my mic. When I see them, I see the little 8-year-old. Like I showed my best friend the picture the other day, and it was before she had braces, and her and I were like 8 years old, and we went to this fair. We had face paint on, and we were holding this chicken, and we had like this photo shoot. We were like holding this chicken, and I like zoomed in on her. I was like, I want you to know, when I see you, even in your little glam and your makeup and your hair done and your braces, I see this little girl with no braces with face paint holding a chicken. I was like, she's 8.
This is all you'll ever be.
this is all you'll ever be.
Just
in my
know
life.
You can never get any better than this.
Literally. And it's just like, I think it's so beautiful how love works that way, because it doesn't matter how much you age, how much you change. I mean, for marriage, it's like, you know, you're hot and young when you get married, but then you're old in a nursing home and decrepit, and that's
so beautiful though.
Yeah, you still just see that young, healthy, beautiful person that you fell in love with, because, you know, you love who they are in here, and even though the outside appearances changes, in here it doesn't. Like, that's just your best friend. It doesn't matter what they look like, you know?
My favorite movies are always like stuff like The Notebook and stuff where it like ends with it, and like that's so, people are like, it's so tragic, but I'm like, I love that they died together. You know, like I think that's really sweet.
The Notebook is actually a really good movie.
Yeah,
I always thought it was super overrated because it's talked about like in every like romantic circle, and I was like, y'all, there's gotta be better romance movies than this. But it's actually really good.
Really good. I love when they like grow old together and it shows like their love story, because that's where it's sweet. You know, like there's like Hallmark movies, you know, where like they fall in love and we all know they broke up the next week. But it's like love stories where they stay together, because that's really what love is it's committing to someone and you're like, I'm gonna love you through all of this, and you're gonna grow old and you're not gonna be attractive to the world anymore, but I'm gonna take care of you and I'm gonna love you, and it's gonna get hard, but I'll help you walk up the stairs. You know, it's like, it's really sweet.
Like an Up, you know, when they like grow old together.
Up is the best romance movie, actually. Oh, bro, we'll definitely have to cut that out.
I'm so sorry. I'd be touching my mic so much.
That's gonna have to get cut out because it'll blow their eardrums.
Yeah, we'll lower the volume. Whoops. Anyway, I'm a little handsy today. No, literally, I was talking to my mom about that, and she was reading this book called Cherish, and there was this story in there about like a young doctor or something that was dealing with this couple in the hospital, and the wife was like not responding. She was like drooling. She was like, you know, laying in bed all day, and the husband was just joyful, taking care of her, holding her hand, and he was like, this is my fishing buddy, blah blah.
That makes me want to cry.
I know. And the doctor was like, fishing buddy, like, honey, she's in the bed, she's not moving. And he was like, no, we used to fish every Sunday and blah blah blah, and she's just so fun, she's my best friend, like we've done all this together, blah blah blah. And it's like he sees that though his wife, who's old now and who's not even moving, he doesn't see her in the bed like that. He sees her as his fishing buddy, who he had 50 plus years of marriage with and did everything with and lived life with. It's like, that's just...
At least I'm so premature right now. You can't do stuff like that.
That's just how we see the people we love, you know? And I think of like, you know, mothers. This actually does relate back to purity culture, you know? I'm going to advocate for our parents. Okay. It's like, I do think in a lot of ways, you know, my parents were maybe a little hard on me, or my sister, especially, this has nothing to do with purity culture, this is just their preference. They don't like when I get tattoos or piercings. Really super against it. I think it should be my life and my decisions. That is true. I think it should be my life and my decisions personally, but I do kind of understand. It's like when they look at me, they don't see this, you know, badass 21-year-old
like you are.
They see the little baby that my mom used to bathe in the sink. And my mom's literally said that. She's like, I used to bathe you in the sink when you were like small enough to hold in my hands and rub a little washcloth of your body, and now you've marred it with ink. So it's like, it's like that's what they see. And you know, like my dad, he saw the little 5-year-old girl who he used to go bike riding with and pushing the swings. Like, she shouldn't be wearing a bikini. Everyone close your eyes. Like, she shouldn't
That's
be
my
wearing
little
a
girl.
bikini. It's like, that's your little baby. So it's like,
Yeah.
I understand where they came from.
Mm-hmm. I get it too. And I told my parents this too, because it's like, they were like, imagine that you have a kid and you think that something's right. Of course you're going to tell them about it. Because I was thinking, if I had a kid and they come around and they're like, women suck, you know, and that's their opinion, I'm going to be like, sit down. We're talking about, just like, we're shoving this down your throat. Women don't suck. Women are awesome. And it's like, I mean, when you believe something, you know, you want your kid to believe it because you love them so much. And you want them to understand where you're coming from and you want them to get it. And it's all out of love. Nothing is out of, I mean, there's certain parents that are really bad out there.
But ours weren't.
Yeah, ours were amazing and just loved us and just wanted us to come to the same light that they have, you know. And I mean, I have my own light though, and I have my own way.
I know.
And your tattoos are beautiful. But I do get it, you know, of like loving your kid and being like, I gave birth to you, or I raised you, I provided for you, and you are doing this now. Like, it breaks their heart, you know. So
there's a healthy balance that everyone's got to get to.
But at the same time, you can't live your life afraid of hurting other people.
Yeah, I do think, like, I don't know, maybe this is me gaslighting myself.
Don't gaslight yourself.
But the conversations that I've had with people, first of all, I don't think they've necessarily had the exact same experiences as me with Christians or people that judged them or whatever, because I do think the experiences I had with Christians or judgmental people, I think they were very, very personal to who I was. I don't think it was so much like, well, I disagree with that. This is what I think. And it wasn't so much where I could be like, well, that's not right, but I'm just going to keep on living my merry little life. Like, it was very much like, you're wrong because you do this and you believe this and you're stupid because like, it was very much personal to me.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't just like a general belief where we disagreed. It was like, because you believe this, you are a bad person. So I think that affected me in a different way. But I also think I might have taken a lot of things personally that I shouldn't have. Even if they meant it personally towards me, that's not my weight to carry. That's not my burden.
I'm trying to get to that point because my mom said this the other day. She was like, you're getting so bitter.
Yeah.
And I actually feel like I've become a lot less bitter.
That's what I'm saying.
But I am more bitter than I ever was. Like, I used to look at people and be like, it's fine. They all have their... And I used to give people a lot more of the benefit of the doubt. And now I'm like, no, they meant it badly. I think I am so bitter to it, you know? Yeah. But, like, I used to look at people and be like, they have their own life story, and it's fine, and everything's okay, and they didn't mean it bad, and just give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Whether that's right or wrong is a different story. Yeah. I feel like the happy medium to that is good. Because I would totally just let people walk all over me and just hurt me and hurt me and hurt me because I was just like, they didn't mean it. It's fine. They're in their own little life, you know. It's okay. They're just doing what they think is best. And now I'm like, don't say that. I'm gonna talk back to you, and I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna share my opinion. Which I honestly am so happy with myself about sharing my opinion. But I do need to, you know, remember that other people can have an opinion too, and I can chill, and I can listen, and not be bitter.
There's definitely a healthy balance. Balanced as all things should be.
Trying to find it. Okay.
No, but I think, like, for me, I think it isn't so much about sharing my opinion, because I've always been pretty good at that. I think it's about, like, letting their opinion get to me so much, like, getting under my skin. Because I think because a lot of the things people said came from people that I cared about or trusted, that I let it get to me in a certain way. Because, like, there's been a lot of people that have said things, they're not a part of my life. I brush it off. I'm like, whatever. But when it comes from people that you trust and you love, it does hurt you.
It does hurt more.
And I did take it personally and did carry that bitterness. And I feel like I'm not angry like I used to be. But then, like, when I go home and talk about it with people, they're like, you're still really angry and bitter. And I'm like, I don't feel like I am. It's just when you try to invalidate my experiences that I get upset.
Be angry.
But I really, like, I don't want to be angry anymore. You
I
know,
don't either. I'm working on it.
Even if they invalidate my experiences, I don't have to prove anything to them.
You should be, and this is me talking to myself, honestly, you should be confident enough in who you are to where when they say otherwise, you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Because if you notice confident people, if, like, someone's like, I'm the most attractive person in the world, and someone's like, you're ugly, they're like, no, I'm not. I know I'm pretty. And it doesn't even bother them because they know that who they are.
They don't have anything to prove.
That's what I'm trying to get is it's like, you know who you are. Now be confident in who you are. Be confident that women are equal to men. Be confident that no one can take away your power.
Yeah.
And then when stupid people say stupid things, you're just like, whatever. Because I know that I'm powerful.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm enough. And I know that I'm okay. And I don't know how to get to that point. I'm just trying to, like, work with it, you know, just try to dissolve the bitterness and just let people talk and just be like, you know, you're an idiot and that's okay. You know?
I think I'm getting there, like, slowly but surely. I always say that, too. And then I feel like I relapse and I'm, like, all bitter.
I have random relapses throughout the week.
I was saying, I do think, like, a lot of growing up, I came from a place of insecurity because I didn't have my own experiences to really, like, back up my beliefs or my feelings, and I didn't feel like my feelings were always validated. But I've really gotten to a point where it's like, I know who I am, I know what I believe, I know where my truth comes from, and if you disagree with that, like, that is just not my burden to carry. Like, whatever you want to do with your life, I don't need to put that on my shoulders. And if you disagree with me, it's okay. It's like, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm vibing.
I want that. I think I have it with people that, like, for instance, like, when I work with somebody, there's a guy there that knows that I'm a feminist, and so he says stuff all the time of, like, women belong in the kitchen, women do this, and I just laugh at him. I'm just like, whatever. You know, it doesn't really honestly, there's no hatred in me. I'm just like, whatever. You're just trying to get under my skin. It's not working. It's fine. But when it's, like, someone I love says it, or someone I value their opinion, or someone that I necessarily, like, I want to value their opinion almost, you know? It's like, it hurts more. It makes me more angry. Yeah. So then when I see that stuff, then it makes me more angry in the other circumstances, too, because it's just, like, it just piles on. Yeah. But I'm working on it, and I'll get there. But I want to be like you.
We're getting there. Like, I'm still getting there, too. No, something I really realized was, like, a lot of the people in my life that hurt me, my phone be dinging. Lots of distractions today. That's fine. But you're just sitting at the coffee table having discussions with us. This is such a ramble.
Like, I don't even know.
No, we made good points.
Do you think? I don't think
confidence.
I have.
Remember?
Said, no, I have confidence that I'm not giving.
No matter what anyone says, if they say you make bad points, you say I made good points.
I don't want fake confidence either. I think
fake it till you make it sometimes, girl.
Okay, well, when I listen to this back, I'm gonna be like, what did you just say? You know? Like,
I always listen to it back and I'm like, I have a podcast.
I have a podcast. I'm so good.
That's just me, y'all. I fake it till I
listen to it back. Yeah, there's two different kinds of people. You're like, you're doing great. And I'm like, you suck.
I have an extreme, absurd amount of confidence. I don't know where it comes from.
I want it. I have an insane amount
no reason to have
lack of confidence.
No, you're amazing. You need to believe in yourself.
Thank you so much.
Manifest it.
No, but honestly, I feel like I have good points to make. I just feel like I can't.
You make good points.
Make them.
You make good points. Believe me.
When it comes time to make the points, I can't make them. If I'm like screaming in my bathroom mirror, you know, like, you know, before your shower, when you're like, all right, it's time to cuss some people out in the mirror.
I'm the exact same way.
Just like screaming.
I'm the exact same way.
I actually don't do it in the mirror. I mostly do it in the car, you know, you're just like,
in the shower.
I just said this. Yeah. Tears in the shower.
No, it's the best place.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so, yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it was before my phone dinged. Oh, yes, I was saying, a lot of the people that have hurt me, I think it hurt because I loved them so much, and then that love kind of turned into anger and bitterness. But I mean, like we were talking today, has been a discussion about purity culture and love. That's really what the meat of this podcast is.
And they go together.
They do.
We tied it in
because I realized I came at it with love and they didn't, and then that hurt me, and then I put up my walls. But the most important thing is where my heart was at, and my heart loved. And nobody can take that away from me. You know, they met me with judgment. They met me with putting me in the place they thought I belonged in. They met me with anti-feminist beliefs, whatever it was, you know. But I met them with love. And whether, you know, they felt that or not, that was really where my heart was at. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And I hope they felt that because I want to make people feel loved. But, you know, all I can do is just keep meeting people with love. And if they disagree with me, if they put me down, that's not my burden to carry. You know, I know what I believe in, I know where I stand, and that's what I really want to embrace. I want to embrace the confidence and the security in my beliefs, and just go forth and love people and try to share my beliefs, and what they take, they'll take, and what they don't, they won't. But that's not on me, you know?
I love that. I need that in my life. Please teach me.
You have that.
Sometimes I do. And sometimes, like you said, I relapse. But I think overall I've grown so much and I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And that's encouraging to be like, okay, well, you did better. I have so much forgiveness, and I always have. And I feel like I'm trying to find the boundary between, you know, forgiveness and then letting people hurt you over and over again. And I think that's where it's like I'm becoming bitter because I'm like, oh, I don't want to let them hurt me anymore. In reality, it's like, no, there can be an in-between of that. And I'm trying to find it for myself.
Sometimes the best thing is, like, to forgive but not let them walk over you. Is just, like, loving them from afar.
Yeah.
Like, having those boundaries. Being like, I don't have anything against you. I wish you well. But our place in each other's lives is not really going to be relevant
the same
anymore.
You know? Yeah.
Which is hard. It's hard to have those boundaries. And it's hard to find, like, that mutual respect, because it's hard if, you know, you love and you have respect for them but you're not really meeting that. That's when you kind of got to step away if they're not having that for you in return.
Well, and if you're like us and you love people so deeply, it's so hard to walk away from them.
It is.
Like, I
just want to be besties with everybody.
Yeah, I'm just like, I love you so much, I don't ever want to leave you, like, ever. Even if you hurt me so bad, I'm just like, I want to be in your life forever. Like, we can make this work, it's gonna be okay. And it's just, it's
and
not,
it just don't be that way sometimes.
No.
It's hard. God give us strength.
Yeah. But that was really way off topic, but like I kind of loved it.
It was on topic.
I kind of loved it
because I mean we talk about feminist issues and life issues, women's issues, but
and
like
that was an issue because
we can
it was
get into
about
anything.
Our hurt from our childhood and our love, and
love is at the center of it all.
It was tied in.
We can get into anything we want to get into. We can go on as many rants. We can make love the new topic.
Make love the new topic.
Caitlin Osteen and Elise Sandlin discuss love.
I love it. That'll be our next episode.
There's so much we could talk about, probably more than feminism. I could talk about love way more than feminism.
Honestly, yeah. Well, I mean, love and feminism go together.
They do.
So, we could do it. We could do it.
Yeah, we could. What I really want to get for a future episode is that book that you read.
Yeah, if I can ever find it.
You need to find it. Oh, and also, I got that book, Christianity and Feminism, that you got like several years ago. Remember when I talked to that pastor? I forgot what pastor she was, like, where she was at.
We could read her emails.
We could read her emails, because, like, and I could email her more.
I never got...
Get some more discussion.
If you're a female pastor out there, check your emails and respond to people. Because you got someone to respond to you, and I never got anyone to respond to me.
She was really cool.
And I really needed someone in that time.
Do you remember who you reached out to?
So many people.
I'm just like Lynn Japinga.
I don't know.
Probably.
I don't think I reached out to her because I knew you reached out to her. But...
Yeah, I reached out to her about 2 years ago, and it was at a time where I just really needed like some kind of hope. And she sent a really long message, and I literally never responded. But I recently got her book. 2 years later, I got her book.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I'd love to read some of that, underline some parts.
Yeah. Well, she helped both of us too, because like we were both kind of going through it.
We really were
together, and she did really help us.
It was a rough time.
Whatever her name is, she
I look so much shorter than you.
Yeah, I needed that.
If you're watching on YouTube, I'm like leaned back and she's like sitting up.
Actually watches on YouTube because I hate it.
I hope they do, because I think a lot of the things we say don't make as much sense on the podcast, but they make more sense on YouTube.
Really?
Because it's like when I'm like banging my thing, people on the podcast are like, "What is that?" But on YouTube, you can see what I'm actually doing. Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun. This is casual.
Well, I'm so sorry if we rambled this entire time.
Don't apologize.
I am so glad that we rambled this entire time.
You're welcome for rambling.
You're so welcome that you
got to listen to it.
I hope that our points made sense. I hope that we got our points across. If not, we'll make a part 2 to this after.
I think we done good, friend. I think we done
good. I never know if I did or not, because sometimes I just go my brain, especially when I'm tired.
Today
and I'm kind of exhausted.
It's literally finals week, and you're a full-time.
Is it finals week?
Oh my gosh, I keep hitting this. It's finals week. I'm a college student, and then she's a full-time career woman with 2
lots
jobs.
Of jobs.
3 jobs, 2 jobs. It's just
I technically have only 2. I kind of have 3.
That's 1 too many. Yeah. That's 2 too many, actually.
True. No jobs.
Oh, but yes.
Anyway, so excuse us if we're tired. Sorry if it made no sense. Next episode will make more sense. We won't be tired.
Will we?
No.
Did we ever make much sense?
Honestly, just expect it not to make sense, and then if it does,
it's just about being along for the ride. Just like life, it's a roller coaster. It's fine.
Thank you for joining us.
Do we have any more points we want to make?
I don't
Anything
think
else
so.
you want to close with?
I don't know. Just love your neighbor
and wear whatever you want.
If you look beautiful in it,
you're awesome.
You should wear it, and you should wear it and love people.
Amen. Wear the shorts and love people.
people.
Amen.
That's gonna be our hoodie when we get merch.
Wear it and
Wear
love
the
people.
shorts
When we
and
have
love
merch. Yes, when we have merch. I love that. Let's get some merch.
Yeah.
Now I want
One
to
day
merch.
we have to get listeners first, and then
we
we
do
can
have
get merch.
listeners. I've been telling you about all the people that have said they listen to it.
Okay, then we get merch.
Literally random people from like my childhood and like other people will be like, I listen to your podcast. And
Which
I'm
just
like,
kinda
oh.
scares me.
Because I'd be talking about you on this podcast and you know it.
I know who they are. But I mean,
They
if
know
you
who
were
they
a
are.
good person, then it's nice to be talked about. If you were a bad person, then you just know to fix yourself.
But like Cinderella says, I forgive you.
That was deep.
All right. I'm Elise Sandlin.
And I'm Caitlin Osteen.
Wear the shorts and love people.
Yeah, the end.
And thanks for listening to episode 3 of 2 People in a White Box.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.